Hello, boys and girls. I'm Mrs. Wade, principal at Banneker Elementary at Marquette, and I will be reading Jamako and the Beanstalk. And this book is retold and illustrated by Fred Crump Jr. Way back in another time, there lived a poor widow and her young son named Jamako. One day, the mother opened the cupboard door to get the oatmeal for breakfast. She found instead a fat mouse who had eaten the very last bit. She told Jamako he must take Buttercup, their cow, to town and sell her so they might have a bit of food. This made Jamako sad, for he loved old Buttercup. But he knew he must do as he was told, or they would surely starve. He put a rope around the cow's neck and started off. He was only halfway to the market when he met a raggedy peddler. "I will give you 3 magic beans for your scrawny old cow," said the peddler. And for some reason, Jamako was unable to resist the offer. Maybe it was the word magic. He looked at the 3 tiny beans in his hand. "What do they do?" asked Jamako as the peddler walked away with Buttercup. "Plant them tonight at midnight, and you will see," laughed the peddler. When Jamako returned home with no cow, no money, and only 3 beans for food, his mother was most upset. "We are starving," she cried, "and you let a peddler trick you out of our last hope for food? And these are too dried up to eat." And Jamako's mother threw the beans out the window. That night, Jamako and his mother went to bed hungry, and there was not much hope tomorrow would be better. That night, as the clock struck 12, the little beans began to glow. And then their wrinkly shells popped open and little vines and leaves and roots grew out of the beans. They crawled and curled and twisted and twined and formed one big beanstalk. The magic plant began growing towards the sky, swaying, looping, swooping, curling, and rising ever higher. The next morning, when they saw the strange vine, Jamako and his mother were indeed surprised. They thought maybe the magic plant had been given to them to make beans for food, but Jamako felt it was meant to be climbed. So up he went before his mother could stop him. She cried out that he must come down, but up and up he climbed. And still up. His house down below looked like a little matchbox, and his frantic mother was just a little speck. The wind whistled around his head and rustled the big leaves. Curious birds circled for a closer look. Then he reached the clouds and everything went foggy. When he climbed above the clouds, he saw a big, dark castle, very big. The beanstalk had stopped growing, but just as he reached the top, it began again. With one last curling loopity swoop, it carried him to a window of the castle. Jamako thought maybe it was about time to go back home, but the wiggly vine crawled through the window. It dumped him on a table as big as a house. Everything on the table was huge. Big mugs and dishes, and a bowl of fruit with apples and oranges larger than pumpkins. But there were a couple of things about his size: a little gray goose and a golden harp. "Did you come to rescue us?" cried the little goose. "You look very small to be a hero," said the harp with a tinkly voice. "I'm not a hero," replied Jamako, "just a little scared and a lot hungry." "Maybe he asked, reaching for a huge grape. But before he could pick it up, A thundering ka-thump bounced everything on the table. "Earthquake!" squeaked Jamako. "The giant thunderfoot," quacked the goose as another ka-thump thumped. "Run! Hide!" tinkled the harp. Jamako jumped into the fruit bowl just as Thunderfoot stumped into the castle. The grouchy giant sat down at the table and shouted, "Wife, bring food!" And at once Mrs. Thunderfoot came from the kitchen with trays and bowls and buckets and barrels of food. After he had chomped down a few baked pigs and a barrel of cider, the giant yelled, "Harp, start playing! Goose, start laying!" And as if by magic, the golden harp trembled and made beautiful music. And the little gray goose laid a shiny golden egg. "That is not a very big egg," snarled the giant. "You must do better next time, or I shall add you to the soup pot." Thunderfoot put the golden egg into a treasure chest. Then he shouted at the harp, "Stop that infernal noise so I can take a nap." Then he gave a big yawn, flopped his shaggy head on the table, and started snoring. Very quietly and very carefully, a very frightened Jamako crawled out of the fruit bowl. "I think it is my bedtime," he whispered, "so I better leave now." "Take us with you," said the goose, "or I shall soon be goose soup." "Please, oh please," tinkled the harp. Jamako knew he could flee faster alone, but he had a soft heart. He picked up the harp and tippy-toed ever so quietly out of the window, keeping one eye on the wicked giant. The little gray goose waddled along behind, quacking nervously. "Hurry, hurry, oh do hurry." Then, with the harp under one arm and the goose sitting on his head, Jamako started climbing down the beanstalk. But their luck ran out. Thunderfoot woke up. Now, although he was not too bright, he figured out the beanstalk had something to do with the missing harp and goose. Then, roaring like thunder, he started climbing down the big vine. "I think we are in trouble," whispered the goose. "Do go faster." And he did ever. Slipping, sliding, crawling, falling, and scattering leaves, down they went. But so did Thunderfoot. "Bring the big axe," Jamako shouted to his mother. Then, with the last scamper and a kerplop, he jumped down and grabbed the axe and started chopping the beanstalk. "You don't play fair," shouted the giant when he saw Jamako whacking the beanstalk with the axe. He scampered back up the vine and just barely got through the hole in the clouds before the beanstalk fell with a thundering crash. Starting that day, things got better in a hurry for Jamako and his mother. The little goose laid golden eggs to buy food, and the music of the magic harp turned their gloomy home into sunshine. And the peddler was happy to trade back old Buttercup for a golden egg. He offered to throw in 3 magic turnips, but Jamako politely refused. And so, for the rest of their days, they never went hungry again. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed Jamako and the Beanstalk. Thank you.